Caroline from CarolineVenzel.com here, and I am here today to show you behind the scenes of how I make all of my amazing pin images that get me so much traffic from Pinterest in less than 10 minutes. Having amazing pins on Pinterest basically can be the difference between having nobody ever seeing your stuff on the internet and making 100,000 page views in a month, or even more. Pinterest is genuinely the key, and it can be the complete difference between having nobody ever seeing your stuff on the internet and having a 1,000,000 page view blog. I want you to have amazing pins on Pinterest, and I also don't want you to spend all of your time every single day trying to make your pins amazing. I'm going to show you exactly what I do to get my pins done quickly and to get them out there so that people can see them. It takes me about 10 to 15 minutes to make each one of my pins and to get them out there and up on Pinterest really quickly. And I'm going to show you kind of behind the scenes of how I do it so that you can do it too. I'm not a pro at graphic design. I don't have a degree in anything. This is only me being able to get things up from PicMonkey and put them onto Pinterest really quickly. This process also makes A/B testing for pins to see what works better and what doesn't. You can really easily customize everything for Pinterest right from PicMonkey or Canva or however you choose to make your designs. So let's get started. Alright guys, so here is where most of my stuff starts, is finding the image that I'm going to use. I got deposit photos when they had a huge deal, and it wound up being like $1 a photo or something. They do sometimes have deals like that, but it's not often. So if you see any deals from deposit photos, that is pretty awesome. They have a lot of the same images that bigger things like Adobe Stock have, but it's not free, so just to be aware of that. I prefer not to use free photos for a number of reasons, not the least of which is, you don't want to get sued in case something is not supposed to be free, which does happen from time to time. So I always use a paid photo when I can. The post that we're going to make an image for Pinterest is going to be 5 time hacks for busy moms. And so here's the image that I'm going to use. I've downloaded it already, and I'm going to go to PicMonkey. Now I have PicMonkey Premium, which is like $36 for the whole year. So that's super awesome, because then here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm going to do. So with PicMonkey Premium, you get access to my hub, which is basically a cloud storage that lets you edit the things that you've already done. So here's what I'm going to show you. You get to see behind the scenes of everything that I have. So you get to see literally everything. So we're going to go down, and I'm going to show you one of the pins that I've made. So here's one of them. We're going to just click on a fairly normal one because I'm going to show you how to make a few of them. This is one that I have already made. I've already saved it. But in fact, I actually keep these so that I can remake some of them. So I'm just going to go through. This is a template that I have, again, just through the hub on PicMonkey. I'm just going to delete this picture. Delete that picture. Where did that come from? And now we have our background, which is plain. I'm going to overlay, and I'm going to add my new image. All right, and here we go. Okay, so now I'm going to just drag it over here, make it bigger. I want that pretty centered. I'm going to send it to the back, and there we go. Now, of course, we have to change the title, of course. This is my watermark that I keep in all of them. Depending on what the background looks like, I just change it to black and white. And we're going to change this text to be the text that I need. So this is going to be 5 best time management hacks for busy moms. So we want things like this. So here, we're just going to clear everything out. I know that I know what fonts I usually use are the block fonts, which are pretty easy. So I'm going to show you guys how I do this. All right, so we're going to make this guy big and in font that's easy to see, easy to recognize, bold. And I'm not really going to pay a whole lot of attention to this. I'm just going to make it a different color. All right, 5. And with pin stuff, it's really important to try to remember to make it doesn't have to be the post title. It doesn't have to be the exact same thing. But you want it to be eye-catching, attention-grabbing, something that's going to really compel them to click. So just time management hacks for busy moms isn't going to cut it. So what we're going to do is try to kind of think about different things that we can use as far as like text goes. It's going to make somebody want to click on it. So genius, because whatever reason that works really, really well. I'm going to change that font. Maybe, I don't know. Make it bigger. Make this bigger. Again, this is all like, I'm just kind of doing this real time with you guys, just to be totally brutally honest. Time management. And I change up the fonts, but they're all typically block fonts in some way, shape, or form. And I have no problem bringing things down, making them smaller to fit, or to continue to have, you know, the same kind of an effect on that image. So this is all kind of a fluid process, just giving you a real idea behind the scenes here. All right, and then the last part is, oh, you know what, I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger. I center my text, Genius Time Management Hacks, and then busy moms. We're gonna change that font, center it on up. And I typically do little words like for and of if I really need to. I do them small so that you can actually kind of like, you can see them, but it's not, you know, drawing attention away from it. And here's something that I personally do. You don't have to, obviously, but I do this. I do this for me, for my pins, because I like the way that it looks. I don't really care what other people think. I usually do a background for my stuff. And so what I mean by that is I'll send this backwards. Maybe it'll work. There we go. And I like to kind of mess around with things that I guess a lot of people don't. Probably, I don't know, maybe it's for good reason. But I like to mess around with things like shadow and drop shadow. I always change that, especially for like that black on pink. I give it a bigger shadow, make it easier to see. You can come back in and change the font color a million different ways from Tuesday. It doesn't really matter. You have full control over this, obviously. You can change whatever colors you want. You can make it whatever colors you want. For whatever reason, pinks and reds do really, really well. Let's see, what color do I really want to use? Something that's eye-catching. Sure, we're going to stick with that. Gonna make this one a little bit gold. Let's see if I can find a goldish. It's goldish. And then we're going to do for 5. What color are we gonna do for 5? I don't know. Maybe something teal? Not that teal. Okay. And then I'm gonna add a drop shadow to it so that you can see it easily. I do drop shadows. This is just, that's like a personal preference thing. You don't have to do them, obviously. Some people might hate them, but that's what I do. All right, guys, and boom, we have a pin that's done. And I think that it looks pretty good. These are all things that I will customize later if I feel like I need to, but I subscribe to the notion of like done is better than perfect. So this is done. This is a pin that is done and is ready to go up onto Pinterest. So I'm just going to save it to my PicMonkey file, but then I'm also going to export it to my computer. So I save it to my PicMonkey file. Hang on. Save copy. I save it to my hub on PicMonkey so that if I want to, I can go back and edit the colors or change around the font style or whatever it is. I could even go back and edit the text if I've left a spelling error in it, which has happened before. And that's why I keep everything in the hub. I go over here to export so that I can keep it on my computer as well, but this will flatten it so I can't edit any of the elements in it once I'm done with this. All right, and it's saved at 1000 by 1500 pixels, and then I export. And from here, what else you can do, so it's also worth mentioning that these are things that I've already saved. I know that this kind of background, this opacity of the background, this fade, whatever you want to call it, works for this image. It could be changed. I can change it like a million different times. But the reason that I keep it is because first off, it hides the fact that this image is so much smaller than the whole pin. but it also, like, if it was overlapping over top of the pin, it would look totally different. It would change everything about it, which again, it's all up to you. You make these kinds of decisions. But the white background opacity works really, really well. Black backgrounds for like text stuff don't do super well. You typically will want a white background so that it gives something for the text to catch your eye on. And so here's another little hack that I said I would show you. I'm super sorry. So here's what I do. So all of my featured images are squares. And of course, you know, I'm all about saving time. So what I do is I crop it to make it a square, drag, and then there we go. I'm going to move this down a little bit, apply, and then here's what I'm going to do with this image. I'm going to make it smaller so that you can still see some of it. And I'm just going to move it up. And that's good enough for a featured image, and now I'm just going to save it. So the reason that I do this for my featured image instead of actually making a specific different one is because I know that most of my text is already seen here. Since it is a Pinterest graphic, the text is eye-catching already. Everything is already optimized for catching your eye and everything. The only difference that I do now is I add at the bottom of it SQ, which is square, so that I know that it's for the square for the featured image. And then I'm done. And so now I've already made my images for both for Pinterest and for the featured image. And so now here's something else that I can do is just hit Control Z, is go back and make it bigger, of course, and go back to this. And so for example, if I wanted for some reason, let's say that I decided that I wanted to try out blues instead of pinks and greens, or pinks and oranges. Let's say that I wanted to try blues and teals and greens. Now, it's also worth mentioning, this is kind of my A/B test. I don't usually do this kind of stuff. Reason being, I kind of believe the concept of like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. My mother would murder me if she knew that I said that sentence. I'm sorry, Mom. This is the internet. Bear with me. I know that the pink stuff works, but you know, we have to try. We never know until you try. So we're just gonna kind of see how it goes. Again, it could be terrible. We don't know. So let's see, we're going to do a darker background and a white Busy Moms. Okay. And white. So you just say none to the drop shadow and see how that goes. And this is why I kind of stick to my template because, again, if I know something works, I'm going to continue to do it. But we're just going to have to see. Who knows? Maybe this color scheme will really be the difference between everything. I never know what's going to work with Pinterest. I never know what kind of a pin is going to take off. But the cool thing about Pinterest and making these images is that I can change the text however I want to. I can change the colors. And once I have a general kind of a pin template, like the one that I started off with, I know that I can basically do anything. Templates are really not hard. I really promise that. All you really need to do is the general size for pins is 1000 pixels by 1500. So all you have to do is starting with PicMonkey and all of these things, none of these, you don't need PicMonkey Premium to make awesome pins like this and to be able to customize the text and the font and everything. All you really need the premium for is for the hub. So that's kind of the only thing. And honestly, for $36 for the year, it's $3 a month. I would pay for it if for nothing else other than the hub, because that means that you can edit everything and it's super easy and it saves so much time and being able to go back and make these images very, very quickly. I highly recommend using PicMonkey. I find it a lot more user-friendly and easy to, just generally easy to use than Canva. That was a lot longer than 10 minutes, but if I wasn't gabbing this whole time, I probably could have done it in less than 10 minutes. So that's my whole process. I hope that helped you. And I hope that you can learn something from that. I hope that you can really be able to put some of that into practice for yourself and for your own blog and be able to make a ton of different pins very, very quickly. A/B testing or split testing different kinds of pins is super useful, super helpful in being able to figure out what exactly people want. Is it a different text? Is it a different color? Is it a different picture for the background? You never know if you don't try. This whole process makes A/B testing for pins, for text, for everything super, super easy. So don't ever feel like you're out of your league or overwhelmed by the concept of trying out A/B testing for Pinterest. I never want you to feel like that. So I hope that helped, and I hope that you learned something new. All right, guys, I really hope that helped, and I hope that you learned a lot about how you can make your own pins, how you can do it really quickly, and I hope that kind of helped you to be a little bit less scared of Pinterest. I promise that it's not scary, it's not that hard, it just takes a little bit of getting used to. It'll be amazing, and your page views will grow with the more pins that you make and the better content that you put out there. So if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you think, or if you think that there can be better ways to do this on Pinterest, I'd love to hear your thoughts. All right, guys, see you in the next video. Bye!